What up, YouTube? Back again for another video. Dang it, I keep kicking that stand. Man, oh man, it's been a crazy couple of days. Like, I'm going through like a big ass change in my life. And I'm really just starting to make videos and stuff, mainly just because I step into my vulnerability, step into my confidence, and just really drop a lot of the fears. And I feel like a lot of the fears that we have, and what I've come to realize, for me anyway, is when we think about all the bad things in life that can happen, like it kind of all boils down to the sense that we feel like we're going to be alone. Um, like just take finances, or that's a big one. Anybody ever trying to make moves or just find their go after what they want in life or whatever else, they're always worried about like, well, how am I going to do this and finances, whatever else. Like, even if you like for me thinking about like, oh, I could lose my house, I could lose this, that, whatever. Like all that's one thing. I know I'll survive, but like on the other side of that, like it's almost like the bigger thing that I get worried about on a deeper level is just kind of the exposure. The exposure that like, what if it doesn't work out and then, everybody's like, oh man, Matt failed or whatever else it is. And I'm just like, man, like I've kind of hit a point of my life. It's like, you know, we're all fucked up. We all have a story. And I network with a lot of people. I've done well in careers and just consistently moved up in income and different things, and I've kind of got to this point where like I've really hit like a midlife crisis in my life where like right now my wife and I like she's actually separated in a sense. Like we're not like arguing or nothing, but like she's left to go find herself with her mom, and she's out in Arizona for a few months. Like her mom actually sold her house and got an RV, and that's the life she's doing. So my wife went because she needed it. She's been a stay-at-home mom. We've built this dynamic of the household with the wife, the kids, and the house and whatever else. And I've been the provider and protector, the sole provider, and she's been the stay-at-home mom. And we realized that lifestyle just the dynamic and what it's put us in, the box that it stuck us in, is just it's been wearing us down. Like it's it hasn't allowed us to really uncover who we are and really enact that because we've built this whole lifestyle, and then you know our energy and time and focus is so stretched thin on maintaining what we have and what we've built that doing the inner work and really like being at the age where we're recognizing that a lot of these issues I have with cycles of money and business and just happiness in general and relationships and everything, it all stems from like inner traumas and different things of programmed belief systems in a sense that we develop, that we hold on to, that are subconscious to this point, that keep us in the same cycles. So we're working on breaking those. We're doing a great job at it. Like she's gone. I got actually the kids by myself, and I'm a realtor, and I've been you know doing a real estate game, keeping things alive, whatever. But even that, man, I've made pretty decent money in real estate, but I feel the same way. It still had the same cycles with money as far as like paycheck to paycheck things go as I did when I was making like $40,000 a year, $50,000 a year, $20,000 a year. It's crazy. And like now, it's nothing for me to make over $100,000 a year, like which isn't a massive amount, but like for where I live and the way I grew up, like it's a big difference. And from where I came from, that's a lot. So like I'm not by any means a millionaire, but I've made enough money significantly different to realize that like it's not the money, because with all the money I feel the same. The cycles I deal with the same. I just have different stuff. I got a nicer house, nicer cars, nicer I got toys, I got things, but those things doesn't change the everyday man on the inside. It doesn't change the same cycles that you repeat in whatever it is. Yeah, when we go spend money now, we might be able to go out to eat more or pick out better things on the menu or like have a better weekend or whatever else, but like ultimately the cycles are the same. And just digging into these things and start to realize like, why don't I like, I get all these excited ideas for dreams or goals. It's like, why don't I go after them all the way? And I kind of come to the conclusion that it's just because it's not me. And so I've been on this soul searching journey. I've been into self improvement for years, but I've really hit the self awareness side of it the past 2 to 3 years. And we've kind of come to this, finding our body, mind, and spirit alignment. Me and my wife has, and she's left to find herself. Like we even had like no expectations when it comes to like if we're gonna stay together or whatever. Like because we just life has got weighed us down that much. We're like, no, we just need to change, and whatever we need to do that, let's do it. And we both agreed on it, and it's because we've done a lot of work, but like her deep inner triggers are triggered by me, and my deep inner triggers are triggered by her deep inner triggers, or vice versa, whatever else. But the point of it is, it ain't about who's right or wrong. It's about that there's a lot inside of both of us that we haven't learned how to emotionally regulate. And what's interesting about that is your how you are with yourself and your emotional regulations is how you are with everything. If you really take a look at your life, you'll notice that the cycles of your quote unquote happinesses or your highs or whatever, or your fitness journeys, is the same thing that it happens with your health and your mental health and your ups and downs in life. It tends to be the same thing with in your business cycles and your money cycles and your relationship cycles, and just how you keep up with everything. And that's a really interesting idea. And when I started to dig into that and like really pay attention and just kind of meditate on these things and just analyze it, like it's the truth. So we're undoing all that. We're breaking these generational curses. I've cut a whole lot of people out of my life. A lot of it being family, and I love them. And I'm gonna I'm gonna come back to my family. But right now, I haven't learned how to ground myself and deal with all the external noise from the people that don't have the mindset that I am developing, and the mindset of the character that I want to achieve. So I've, instead of just getting frustrated and always trying to over-explain myself so that I don't come across a certain way, or like always have the back and forth because we don't see things the same way, I was like, I just need to cut everybody off for a minute, because we get so stressed thin of life and all the way around that you never had the time, energy, or to put the focus and attention on the areas to figure out who you really are, in the areas of your inner self to really become your best self. Because we got the jobs that we're keeping up with, we got all the bills we're keeping up with, we have everything around us, and then when you're done with all that, you're like, oh, I got this big house I got to keep up with, all the kids, got to make sure they're good and fed and on a routine, and then the laundry, and then cleaning up the house because it gets dirty, and then it's just never ending. And then try to keep up your relationships with all your friends, whatever, like, so you can keep everybody happy. Oh, and then be the family guy because now your family keeps wanting to hang out with you. All that. By the time all that's said and done, you never have enough time for just you. And I really believe like that's fundamentally my problem. And so I've really been doing the inner work, erasing myself from the world. I'm in a semen retention thing right now that I've just kind of adopted, the semen retention pact I've made with myself. Where I'm no porn, I'm celibate. I mean, my wife's gone and we're technically still married. We was actually going to get divorced, but that's a lot harder than we thought it was going to be. Just, it was uncontested, but regardless, it was a lot harder than we thought it was going to be. So we're like, you know what? We reached the time frame she had to go because she already had this trip planned, and I was like, you know what, just go. Like, we'll just play it by ear. I'm done trying to force life, because when we force life, that's when it's like you want to control everything, and you trying to control everything. That's where all the resistance come from, because like we don't have control over everything. We have control over ourselves and our responses right now in this present moment, but that's it. Like, you don't have, just in anything, like just like in business, you have control over what you do in your daily tasks and your input you put in, but you don't have any control over how fast that money's going to come to you or whatever else it is. So I'm realizing all this areas of my life, and in business per se, like I reach a point that like I've worked my way up and reached all these little goals of like titles, and then like money goals and different things, like and my smaller money goals, and I reach them and I'm like, I could be making so much more money and doing so much stuff. Why don't I do it? And of course it boils down to because you don't want it. I mean, why don't I don't want it? Because I do want it, but I just don't want to do it that way. And then I realize it's because I'm just operating on survival mode. So all the money that I make, and as good as I do in just about everything I do it just enough to get me to that standard that I want to be at that moment, just that standard of living that I feel I need right now to maintain this lifestyle. And I realize that's my cycle. That's what the fuck I do. I do just enough. I do just enough with my health. I do just enough with my money. I do just enough with my relationships. And that's why everything seemed to struggle at some sense. So I'm taking my life back. I've been really pouring into myself because I got to clean up first. If I want to be disciplined in everything I do, I got to be disciplined with myself first. if I want to be healthy in everything I do, I got to be healthy with myself first. If I want to trust myself and have the confidence in everything I do, well, then I need to learn to trust myself and have the confidence in everything I do with me. So, like, I've been on this big kick of, like, if I tell myself I'm going to do this, if I'm going to tell myself this is the workout I'm going to do tomorrow morning, and I wake up, I don't feel like doing it, I do it anyway. And that's why I've been slowly reinforcing this, because you develop a credibility system within your subconscious mind that is based off of how much you trust yourself and how many promises do you make on a daily basis that you don't keep. Like, I went to a networking event this morning. I got TikTok. I put it on there that I didn't want to go to. It turned out it was a great thing, and I'm glad I went. But beyond that, I didn't want to go to it. But 3 weeks ago, in the middle of a conversation, I had at the end of a deal, I got invited to it. And just in the spur of the moment, hear the conversation, is people pleasing me. I was like, oh yeah, I got invited. Yeah, sure, send it to me. I'll check it out. I'd love to see something like that. And I obligated myself to it. Well, the time comes, and the day before, they're reaching out to me, wondering if I'm still going to be there. And I'm like, man, I didn't want to go. But you know what? I said I was going to go, so I'm going to go. I'm not going to make some lame excuse to get out of it. Oh, something came up or whatever else. No, I'm going to go. So all this kind of stuff will build up that confidence. And so I'm really just on this journey of finding myself, finding my confidence, and really peeling back and trimming the layers of fat in my life as a whole, so that all that noise, all that stress, all that attention that's stretched out, all that can stop and just put it into the areas it needs to, and that's me. So what's neat about this is there's something I'm thinking about doing, and I'm not 100% sold on it just yet, but I'm in the works, and I'm taking the steps basically because I just want to get some more opinions before I make my final decision. But I think I'm gonna sell everything I got. I got an auction, everything, and just buy a camper, pay my truck off, and start all over. My wife's already out, and she's out and about, and I just go do the same thing. I'll go out, we'll link up, because we've talked about, we don't want to go back to the same dynamic we had, but, we would love to see our family together, but we just don't want to be like we was. But, we'll link up, see if we've been putting in the work with ourselves to really change and learn how to heal and be vulnerable with ourselves, so therefore we can be vulnerable with each other and have proper communication. So we've been doing that, and we want to, of course, we wanted to see how that plays out in person rather than the separation we've had. And really just, even if it doesn't work, I just really feel like that's that restart I need. We always say the sayings, like, if I knew then what I know now. And if I knew then at 18 or 20, whatever, what I know now at 32, I would do things differently. Well, as wild as it seems, selling all my stuff and grabbing a camper and going and riding out that life, like, that's that restart. You could really get a restart. And yes, there's going to be some bills and different things I'm still going to have, but, like, it ain't going to be near as what I got now. And, doing the research and different things that it would take a whole lot less to do, like, one job or one random thing to make the money that I need. It definitely wouldn't be as grueling and as time and draining and energy draining and focus draining to just maintain my bills on whether it be a little side gig job, doing little odd and end things here and there just to make ends meet on some small bills, because all I'm gonna have is, like, phone bill, insurance, and and play money, basically, in a sense. But I'm doing this YouTube channel, and I've got a few of these, and I'm doing TikToks, and obviously right now it's just random ass ramblings. Like, I've got this idea I'm going for, and I'm really getting used to being in front of the camera, and I'm forcing myself to get used to being in front of the camera because I geek out on, like, self-improvement, self-awareness. I don't know anybody that does the extent of work that I do as far as routinely the way that I do it. And I don't mean that in a comparison way, but I just mean that as a sense that I've talked to myself and found my worthiness in that. It's like, man, I wake up at 4 in the morning, I do breath work, and then I meditate, and then I work out, and then I take a cold shower. I take the kids to school, and I come back, and I journal, and I read, and I'll meditate some more. And I'm like, I'm so into this, and I just dig it. Like, I dig it so much that, like, I enjoy the conversations about it. When I talk to people, they bring it out of me, and, like, that's why I'm starting a podcast as well. Friday is our first episode, which is tomorrow. I think we have it set up to do it at 8 o'clock, because in the right environments and when I really hit my flow, I know I have just an articulate way of speaking about these concepts that I understand because I'm experiencing them myself, And I just feel like it could help people because I help people on a daily basis. Like I'm like an unofficial coach to a handful of people that are consistent because they like my perspective because it really helps them uncover their belief systems and the certain things that they're holding back on their lives that's kind of got them into blocks. As long as they're open to receiving it and open to hear me without meeting with resistance, because everything I speak is out of love and just out of my own personal experience. I'm not trying to be egotistical or think I'm better than anybody. It's just I know what's worked for me and I know what's made me feel better, happier, and healthier, and just overall a lighter version of me and finding myself again. And I want to share that with people because I can see the struggle in people's eyes and hear it in their voice when they've had the same like hardships and different things, or just like life in general, because we all have it. And just really looking for that, just like, man, I just wish I had somebody that could. I've always looked for that mentor. It's always been hard to find, and even beyond the mentor, just that piece, that perspective that really just changes you in a different way. And my mentors has kind of been like a lot of unofficial mentors. Some would be some people I'm around at the moment, and I would somewhat be mentored by them in just certain aspects of life, just certain areas, and not everything. But then also the good thing of media and entertainment is like 90% of my content, because I just geek out on this so much, the algorithms has built just nothing but like self-improvement, self-awareness, kind of spirituality, just put anything, all of those concepts of healing, therapeutic, blah blah blah. That is all what I pretty much see. That's my main exposure on the internet because of the algorithms, which is cool because that makes my scrolling a little bit more productive in a sense, even though I still try to reel back my scrolling some to not just be so distracted with screenplay. But that's really been a big contribution because I've got like all these unofficial mentors that I have as well. But then beyond that, I do my own inner works, my own inner dialogues of really analyzing the stuff that I hear or take in or read or just think about. So anyway, like I'm making this YouTube channel to just share my journeys, share my stories, and my goal is that these will become more structured, and I will have more solid, codified systems of what I talk about and break it down. And I can use a whiteboard and stuff with so many different things. But right now, just starting all this, I've got so much up in my head, and I'm so far up in the clouds that it's hard to reel it all down and just be like, all right, let's make a 20-minute YouTube video. It's difficult because my head's everywhere, and not only am I realizing all these concepts and I'm implementing them and starting to work in my life, I'm going through a bunch of changes in my life, and they're good. They're changes for the good, and I feel it. Don't get me wrong; it's a little nerve wracking because like for new to come in, old's got to go. So like that's a lot, learning how to let go of some emotional attachments and different things, and let go of some areas that you feel security and safety with. But I was talking to people and like thinking about selling all my stuff and getting a camper and just going out. I'm like, people's like, what the world? Like for one, that minimalistic lifestyle will give me that space because I won't be so stretched thin trying to take care of a 3,100 square foot house and all this. That minimalistic lifestyle will really just be able to hold my brain in because I won't be stretched thin trying to do all this extra shit. Just focus more on me, focus more on my craft, and focus more on these videos and editing and doing what I want to do, put out content because that's me. What's me? Dude, I'm all about philosophy, just self-improvement, self-awareness. I would call it like a growth strategist. That's kind of how I guess that'd be the way I put it. Like, I mean, I don't really like the term life coach, but I guess in a sense that's kind of like the ideas I like going for. Because it's just a growth coach. Because like I'm just all about growth. It's not so much just about like life because everybody's life and what you want out of your life is going to be different. But if you're like me and you love the growth and you love expanding and growing, and becoming something new, and you have these big goals and visions and dreams that you're working towards and you want to continue working towards, but sometimes you feel stuck and in plateau, like, I'm with you. And so that's why as I overcome this and as I do a lot of this stuff and find my realizations that just etch me closer and realize that and really feel that things are working out and that things are going my way and that I'm not so much being dragged by life, but I'm starting to take control of life and learn how to work with life because some things you can't control, some things you can. So I'm learning how to ride the waves when it's here, but also make the turns when I need to. And I'm learning how to do that, and it's nice. But I just want to share that journey, and because I know there's somebody out here, if you come across this video and you made it this far to listen to this whole thing, like you fucks with it because you're like, man, fucking, I'm right there with you. So Let me be the guinea pig. Let me do this stuff. I haven't fully decided if I'm doing that minimalist lifestyle, but I mean, that's really on my mind, And what's crazy about that is so many people that when you first think about that, like I've got motorcycles, zero turn, like this workout equipment, this nice house, like all this shit. Like when you think about that, it's like, man, that's you gonna give up a lot, but like, man, I promise, all this shit, and I love my motorcycle, and I got guns because I like guns, and the workout, I love all that, I do, but it's just stuff. And when you start to have enough stuff, you soon find out that it's all nice at first when you get all this stuff, but ultimately, I don't care what car you drive, you're still the same man, just in a different car. You might be feeling great for a couple of weeks because everybody sees you as a new cool car that they haven't seen around town. You feel good for a minute, but let a couple months go by, you ain't gonna feel no different. You'll still feel good to get driving your car. You still feel bad about your car, but that's a small blip for the rest of your life. For all the rest of your inner turmoils and whatnot. So this is a big shift. It's a big move that I'm thinking about making. But I honestly think it could be the restart that I'm wanting for, and just to go after, and to really, now that I'm finding the clarity of what I want to do, then that clarity is allowing me the inspiration to see letting everything go as an opportunity, to see minimize my life as an opportunity, and to really bite the bullet and do so. Because with the debts that I've acquired and all the stuff I've acquired, like the reason it's really hard to go after the dreams that I'm finding the authenticity in, the genuine sense of who I am, and that's the area I want to go for. It's really difficult to do that when I'm spending my day worrying about, all right, well, I got to get these bills paid. I got to do this. So, like, I've got to put a lot of time and effort into work to develop all this stuff. And, like, I don't want to do that no more because that's not me. And I've been fighting the it's not me for years, and it's all got me to this point, which I'm so grateful because I've learned so much from all this experience I've had. But I think this is my year, and I'm ready for it. So I'm making these videos. I'm doing stuff coming out of my comfort zone. I'm going to keep pushing them out. And as I take these leaps, I want to post about it. I want to speak about it. I want to share my story. And I just wanted to help people. I want people to know. I want to interact with people. I want to get people's comments on, some questions or what they think about this. Just like, let me offer up my perspective to you. Because that's my perspective. I really try to take an open-minded approach, and that's why I'm sought after a lot in my area for like business consulting and everything. It's just because I take a real bird's eye view of everything, and then I just break it down to the individual person about it ultimately boils down to like what excites you, like what are your visions? Because there's really not a right or wrong. It's all subjective. Like doing what I'm doing is not a right or wrong. You might think that it's wrong because in your mind and the way you perceive what I'm doing, of what my goals, this idea that I think I'm going to do, the way you perceive that may be a projection of fear, or just maybe a projection of that's not you and you're comfortable where you're at. And either one, none of them's wrong. Like yours, any idea is not wrong. It's just if it's wrong for you. So I just reached a point that with everything I have and the securities I have, I know that there's a possibility out there of everything working out the way that I want it to, and there's a possibility of it not. They're both out there equally, the same. I could have the best reality in the world and everything work out way better than I want to, and then I just be all that I want to be, and life is great, family and everything. Or everything could go south. Me and my family don't work out. It doesn't click. I'm out there on my own. I end up being really tight on money, and now I'm over trying to scramble to get a job and everything else. But and they're both out there. But I know one thing for certain is right now I'm broke and unhappy. And no matter how much money I've made, I always end up coming around back to being broke and unhappy. And I'm like, the worst thing that could happen is I'm going to be broke and unhappy. So I have nothing to lose. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of this lifestyle. I'm tired of, yes, I've made, $30,000 in a month and, 15 the next and stuff like that's. And, I don't know, some of you guys that might see this don't think that's that much money depending on where you're at, your cost of livings, the wages and whatnot. But I'm sure there's a lot of people, especially if you're where I'm at in little old Kentucky, that I'm definitely on the higher end of the percentage of what the average population makes. So that's, I have stuff. I'm not rich by no means, but I've got, I've had enough money to give me that leeway that if that was going to make me happy, that would have been it. And I would have just kept chasing that dollar. But it's not the dollar, man. It's not. I only chase the dollar just to meet that minimum standard of lifestyle. But I never bite the bullet and push that little extra bit harder because I know the work that needs to be done to do so. And like, man, that's just not me. Ain't nothing about it. But when you find out who you are and you get that clarity within yourself of what you want to do, and then you build your confidence back, and you know you so fervently with conviction, then that makes life easier to go after because, like, it don't matter. I can lose all this shit. Like, if God or whoever else came down to me and floated down to me right now and was like, look, I'm going to give you your dream life. I will give you your dream life under one condition. You've got to let everything you have go. Would you do it? Your dream life. I'll give you your dream life. Sit down and I'm going to give you a week to think about your dream life. When I'm going to come back to you in a week, I'm going to give you one condition. The one condition is you can have your entire dream life, but what you have right now, you have to let everything go. Would you do it? And I had that conversation with myself and said, I fucking would. I would let everything go. I would go back to being broke. I would go, I'm already broke. It don't matter how much you make. I'm still broke. I'm wealthy in the mind and I'm wealthy and I have money at times, but like overall, like I'm broke because I'm doing stuff I don't want to do, and so like, when it comes to money and stuff, yeah, I've kept up with my bills and everything, but like all the extra, I've never had clarity of like where I want to spend it, where I want to invest. I think about investments, it sounds all exciting to me, but it only sounds exciting to me just to get more money in that moment. It doesn't sound exciting to me because as far as like what it could do for me, because I've never really noticed like, okay, well, freedom. Like I have kind of a lot of freedom, like right now as a realtor, like, and money, oh, give me that money. But like I had enough right now, like that doesn't make me feel that I thought it was going to make me feel, so I'm like, well, so those ideals, I like to invest and, I partner with some people and some things and I like to invest and I wouldn't mind investing for the asset side of it, but I don't want to chase it just to develop a sense of survival to meet my means right now. Like I want to run off of who I am, pour into that, let that build its business. And once you build a business, the money will come in, but it's easier to build a business when it's authentic to you. And then as I build that, then I can branch off and then I can play with all these extra things as a hobby, but it won't be so forced. I won't be all like stretched thin, like really hoping I can get this deal because, because I took my time off of retail real estate, man, I hope I win this auction on this flip house because I took all my time and energy off of retail real estate and prospecting buyers and sellers. Well, now I'm over here I've been digging in and finding off-market properties and this, that, and the other. So like, it's all about your ROI on your time, energy, attention, and focus. And you got to trade one. So like, if I'm taking off retail real estate and I'm putting it over here when I don't have enough time over there, well then that was paying my bills. Well, now this is going, oh no, I lost the auction. Well shit, now my bills are due and I've already let this go. So now I got to try to run back over here. And like, that's that balance I've always been in. I'm like, you know what? Let me quit trying to just chase things just to pay my bills and let everything go and really pour into what I believe that I can pull off because it's who I am, because it's easier to do things that's for who you are, and then just trust it's going to work out. So I know it sounds a little crazy, sounds a little far-fetched, but, what sounds crazy to me is that I'm already at a place that I'm not happy with, so what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, I'd be in the exact same space, but just at least a new scenery. Like, it's just a new experience, but it's the same thing. Like, what's the worst going to happen? Be broke and miserable? I'm already broke and miserable. So now I really believe that I'm doing this and I won't be broke and miserable because I'm going to make it work. And right now, I'm not going to give a shit about, like, if I have to let some credit things fall off, I'm going to let it fall off. I'm going to let all my shit tank because why does credit score and anything matter when you can't fucking do nothing with it anyway? Because you don't know what the hell you're doing. I'm everywhere. And there's so many people out there that I know your mind's everywhere. You get all these great ideas and you're meant for something. You can do big things because you're good at everything you do. But your mind's everywhere. You're over here for 1 minute, then you're over here. It's because we don't know ourselves enough. So when we get these ideas, they're all great and grand, but then you find out you get 30 freaking opportunities at once, but then you can't even commit to any of them because you're uncertain with yourself. You're scared to the ones that are right in front of your face and ready for you to grab, you don't even want to grab a hold of, because if you grab a hold of that, well, what if that's not meant for me? Like, what if I get in that? It's not what I expect. It's because you don't know yourself. You're uncertain. And then the other ones, you're desperately just wanting to be that validated, know it's going to work out. But then once you know it's going to work out, that's when you don't want to attach to it, because the the certainty's not there. So if you want to be successful in life, you got to be successful with yourself. If you want to be disciplined in life, you got to be disciplined with yourself. If you want to be certain in life, you got to be certain with yourself. So it all starts on the inside. And that's what I've been doing, and that's who I am. And I'm going to put this shit out there. I'm going to keep making these videos and just watch it take off. It's crazy as hell, and many people think it's crazy as hell. Many people is like, this motherfucker, let's see if he fails. Like, and I might. Watch me. Y'all can watch me and see if I fail. But, like, I got nothing to lose, so I'm going to go after it. Wish me luck. Give me something to talk about. Give me some questions that you have, whatever, and I'll try to make a snippet of it. Peace.